Okay, good morning. So we're up to Siman Shin Aleph Halacha Chaf Gimel Sif Chaf Gimel. Habonim Yotzim Bezogin. Children are allowed to go out with bells. Pirush Kmin Pamonim Katanim, small little bells. Ha'arugim lohem beksusom, which are stitched into their clothing. Avalim enam arugim lo, but if they're not stitched in, then they can't go out. There's a problem of hotzah, of carrying. Says the Ramah, v'lo mahani bom ha mechuba leksus. And it doesn't help that which they're attached to the clothing. Rak b'dova shedarka liyos mechuba sham, only if it's the normal way of it being attached. If you stitch, you tie something on which is not really should be there. It's not really the darka bakach. Then asa. Okay, let's do the Mishnah Berurah just till that point. So again, the Mechaber said that children can go out with these bells which are sort of somehow stitched onto their clothes. That's okay, but so long as they're properly woven into the fabric. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Harugim lohem. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Ayin Tes, V'lochein lo ychashin and dilma mafsik v'osil asuye, because they're sewn into the actual clothing. Then we're not worried that they might dilma mafsik, they might become detached, and you come to carry them. V'afilu im heim zogin shel zahav, even if they're very fancy bells, they're gold. She'ena osu ela libnei melachim, that only sons of princes wear them. Gam kein lo chashin and dilma mechaychi alo v'osil asu biyota. We're not worried that people will laugh at him and he'll take them off and he'll come to carry them. Kimin shu orach, because once it's woven into the beged, there is not that concern. Sifkot and pei ena ma'arugim lo. But if they're not woven in, then it's a problem. V'afilu heim kashurim l'aksus, even if they're tied to the beged, for kolshkein bezug shebetzavara to oselotzes, and certainly for the bell around the neck oselotzes. Tzachashin and dilma mifsik me'aksus oimei tzavaroi for osilasuye, because if they're not woven in, then we're worried that they might come. They might become detached, and then you'll come to carry them. For kolshkein imheim shel zohav, and certainly if they're made out of gold, tzachashin and dilma mechaychi la'achzika b'kiyuera. Because who are you to walk around with these fancy gold bells? It looks a little bit arrogant. These are meant for very wealthy people. And people might come to take them off. Even children who are not from wealthy families, they're not allowed to go out with bells made of gold which are not woven into the clothing. They're wrapped around the neck. Who we're worried people will laugh at them. And the fathers will inevitably hear about it and they'll take them off. And you may come to carry them 4 amas in Rosh Hashanah. The Magen Avram bring this opinion. Okay, and then the Ramah added, that which we said you can go out with these bells if they're stitched into the clothing, that's only if it's the normal way of wearing them. That was the fashion in those days. Says the Mishnah Berurah Pei Aleph, Tahainu could go in zug like a bell, sha'derech hoya bizmanehem liyos b'chol ha'begodim l'noi, l'kach shari ba'orig, and therefore that was the normal way of doing it. It was there for an adornment, and therefore if it was stitched in, it's okay. Shlo gozru otu eini orig, because we don't make a gezerah that you may come to wear something which is not woven in. Kiven shu noi lebeged, it's an adornment to the beged. Lo yitrichu Chazal lahafsid oisei. Chazal didn't make a gezerah that you didn't have to lose out on this. But lehisganis, I think that means lehisganis they didn't have to need to defend the situation. Okay, so if it's woven in and it's part of the beged, and it's the darka bekach, then these kids can go out wearing these bells on their clothing. And the Ramah says she'ein darka, but if it's not darka bekach, then it's asa. Hainu to gozr mechuba alto ena mechuba, because in a situation where it's not darka bekach, then we make gezerah, even though it is stitched in case you might come to wear something which is not stitched in, which is not attached. The Mordechai there concludes, as the Mishnah Berurah, it could therefore be a concern of it being not a beged but a masui, a burden, which is a problem of hitzah. And therefore, if you wear these items of clothing, it could involve a chiyuv chatzas. It's not considered bottled to the beged because it's not the normal way of wearing clothes. The Koldov she'ein tzorech la'beged ve'ein tashmish la'beged ein a bottle legabe ha'beged v'harihu ki'ilu meitziyin It's as if you're literally carrying out with these bells and just holding them, and therefore there's a problem of Hitzah. Now, there's a few interesting footnotes. First, 61 on this Mishnah Berurah. Look at this. On kids' clothing, sometimes you've got the kid's name and it's stitched into the beged. So is that a problem? Is that a problem of Hitzah, where it says Chaim Golker on the label, which you've specially stitched into the beged? Is that a problem? That he won't lose his coat. So long as it's stitched in properly, then it's okay. Then it's considered bottle. On the contrary, you don't want it to become detached. You want it to stay on. Nowadays, you can buy not just the ones with printed labels, which you can either sort of stitch into the beged, which is certainly okay according to this, but now you can even buy ones which are like very sticky, and you just literally it's like a sticky label, and then you press it and it's adhesive which it lasts. I know we bought some, and I put one on my raincoat and one on my Shabbos coat, and I've had it for months now, and it lasts a year, maybe 2 years, and they last there. So those things are considered fine. Okay, let's finish off the remark. Okay, top of the page, Pei Aleph. V'oisen egulim yerukim shegozra hamalchus. These sort of circular yellow type of patches. Shegozra hamalchus shekol Yehudi yisa echad mehen b'chsusei. Right, now this is amazing. The Ramah is writing in the 1500s, but this has sort of has smacks of the middle of the 20th century, wearing yellow badges. So the malchus, I guess in Eastern Europe, were made of gezerah. They had to wear these circular yellow patches. Nothing's new, huh? You're allowed to wear those on Shabbos, even though they're not woven into the beged, but they're somehow sort of partially attached to the beged. Which he translates at the bottom mit pachas af, so it's like a handkerchief. So you're allowed to go out with a handkerchief if it is connected to your clothing. And that which you're allowed to go out, we said previously, with bells which are sort of stitched into the beged, dafka she'ein bohem inbal. Dafka if there's no bell, there's no clapper in the middle. Ve'ein mashmi'in kol, and doesn't make a noise, because otherwise you've got other problems. Okay, says the Mishnah Berurah. So this is talking about these circular yellow patches. The chashiv malbush, because it's considered an item of clothing. Because they were forced to wear these things during the week, and therefore it's considered a malbush, and you're allowed to wear it on Shabbos as well. We're not worried you're embarrassed to wear it with these yellow patches, and you might come to take it off and carry it. You won't do that. Why? She'emus malchus olav. You're scared of the malchus. They're not. They've insisted you wear this. We're also not worried it might become detached, and you might come to carry it. Like with those bells which are not woven in, because they're not so choshev, these things, and therefore we're not worried that you might come to carry it. Okay, so then we said im mechuba ktsas, we said pei daled im mechuba luksus. Sorry, if they're attached to the beged. This is going on the mitpachas. This pei daled is going on the mitpachas. We said wearing a handkerchief, mutalot says mitpachas shemekanchin boyaf, like a tissue, shekarin putzil ve'emuchub luksus, as long as it's connected to the beged. Says the Mishnah Berurah, kan bo'inan sheyeh me'ba'id yom tofu heitev laksus. Here we require it to be properly attached from before Shabbos. Or at least with 2 stitches. That's always the geder. The oz have it kamei orach yachad is considered woven together. Because if it's not properly connected, then we're worried it will become detached and you might come to carry. Like with the bells we said previously. Even a handkerchief is not a malbush. It's not considered an item of clothing. It's not like an adornment for your beged. Mikol makom lo chashuv k'masui. Nevertheless, a handkerchief is not considered a masui. The derech hoyab is maneim lit for kein laksus. In those days, they would somehow attach them to the beged, and that's how they wore it. Hilkach botlu legabe beged, and therefore it's considered bottle to the beged, and therefore you can wear it on Shabbos. Ulafizeh, and therefore says the Mishnah Berurah, bismanenu, in our days, she'en derech lios hapatz l'tofa bar beged, where the handkerchief is not stitched into the beged, lo botlu legabe beged, but also it would be also to just sort of connect it to the beged and to wear it on Shabbos. V'chein kosu b'sefer zichru Toras Moshe v'sefer Matzeh Asher. V'yeshe kosu lefisha ha'betzelet, this handkerchief who dovach she'ena choshev is not something which is very choshev. Botlu legabi haksus kasher tofu boy. It's bottled to the beged when it's stitched to it. Or kshir ba'alma laksus elachker, and it's somehow connected to your clothing or your belt. Even if you attach it with a kesher kayama before Shabbos, gamkin also lost this by silence. You're not actually using it as a belt itself. It's just attached to it. If you want to go out with a handkerchief on Shabbos and there's no Eruv, what do you do? And it's not sewn into the beged from before Shabbos. There's no heta to make a belt out of it now, because you've already got a belt. And to put a belt over your belt is a problem. Oh, we'll see. We'll come to that in a second. Yeah, because the only way to do it is to make a long belt, to sort of make it like an addition to your belt. We'll come to wearing around your neck in a second. And therefore you're wearing one belt when you're going in the streets. A kesher it's not really a permanent bow or tie. It doesn't really help you. Therefore I'm going to give you another eitzah that before Shabbos you should tie it properly with the kesher shel kayom before Shabbos, which you obviously can't do on Shabbos. And therefore it's considered like a long belt. Okay, we'll come to halacha l'mais in a second. Leksus, and we said that it's if it's mechuber leksus, the dafka leksus. Avalim tofer lechagera, if it's just stitched into your belt, in a moil to in a bottle agabe chagera, it's not bottled to the belt. And in kain yitzberen bereish chagera, unless it's properly stitched in. The yachker atzma bay v'chanal v'ayin lekam b'sif lamed vav lamed zayin mashi kosav the Mishnah Berurah b'sif zeh. So, what do you do regarding a handkerchief nowadays? It comes out from the Mishnah Berurah quite strict. So if you look at note 65, the second paragraph, so you're in a place where there's no Eruv, and you want to have a handkerchief, and you want to carry it on Shabbos to take it with you. You can wear it as a scarf around your neck. And if you can't tie it like a scarf around your neck, you're not sort of tying it properly like a kerchief around your neck, like a very fancy English gentleman who wears a neck scarf. But even if that, you can just tie it around your neck, sort of wrap it around your neck, so long as there's some sort of to'eles, it being around your neck. For example, kagoyim b'mos hakayitz, in the summer, lahagin b'pnei zeya, so it can absorb some sweat. V'b'mos hachorvin, in the winter, lachamim etzavar, is a scarf to warm your neck. Me'idach, b'shar zeshuvah, so let's see in kosu she'in nir al yodeh krichas hamitpachas soviv atzava nechsheves k'malbush. Others argue and say that just wrapping it around your neck, it doesn't make it into a malbush. So there's a machlekes about it. Rosh Hashanah Zalman is matir, so long as it's got some benefit, either in the winter for the warmth. What? If you're sweating so much.
Yeah. Especially
Okay.
if you're wearing a thing around your neck.
Yeah. But look at this. In 66. Now, so in other words, it comes out that, as you suggested, when it comes to wearing a handkerchief on Shabbos, if you, according to Rosh Hashanah, if you wrap it around your neck, ideally before tie around your neck, so it's a proper, like it's got a bit of a scarf. Like a handkerchief, a proper kerchief, a neck chief, whatever it's called. But if you haven't got that, then to just wrap it around your neck, so long as it serves a function either to absorb the sweat in the summer or to give you warmth in the winter. Rabbi Shlomo Zalman says it's okay. There are those who argue. But look at 66. If, in order to use the handkerchief, you have to separate it, in other words, you can't just sort of take at the end of it and just sort of wipe away some sweat or whatever. So you've got to be able to just without sort of taking it out and using it, you've got to be able to use the end part of it to wipe away some sweat or something according to Ramesha. So those are the rules. Now, one final. Well, let's just do Chaf Daled. What time do we start today? Let's just do it very quickly. You're allowed to go out with some grass or some herbs and around your neck for sort of medical therapeutic purposes. Says Mishnah Berurah Pevov, Du Gam Kein Bichlal Kamir Mumcha, which we're going to come to Mitzvah Hashem next time. The Kamir Mumcha is God didn't have a proper amulet. Kadis Lekam Basif Chaf Hey. The echot kamir shel ksav, echot kamir shel ikrin, both are okay. The tachshit to lechoyle is considered a tachshit for a sick person. Mimal bushav, ayin lekam b'sif chafei mosai nikra kamir mumcha. Okay, that we'll get to. But 67 is very interesting. What about labels? You've got like a dry cleaning label, a shutness label, and things like that. It's not considered choshev at all, just to say that you've got your label on, or your dry cleaning label or whatever. If that's your Shabbos jacket, that's your Shabbos coat, then it would be okay to wear it, even though the label, the dry cleaning label, is still in there. And he didn't like it. However, the das Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky is shemuter lot seis pozev v'chein kos b'tshuvas van Hagos or Moshe Sternbuch, and shehaysev shem tluya pitzakas shel beged m'vachutz upegemes b'noya beged, if it's sort of stitched on the outside and it takes away from the noy of the beged, that there's a label or something, then kiven shadai tel asira makbid oles, if you're going to take it off and you're makbid, then eina b'teil lebeged v'otzel lot seis pay. So if it's on the inside, then it would be okay. And then he quotes Rivers Ephraim, B'Shem Ramesha, Shalachat Chili Yesh Laha says that Pesach goes Machawez with the Erev Shabbos. But you should try and take them off before Shabbos, but if you didn't, then Mutter Lot says Bohen. So if you didn't take the dry clean label off before Shabbos, then you are allowed to go out with them on Shabbos. Okay, Seder.